Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene Flash Update. Today's date, February 22nd, 2025. Time in Texas, about 1 p.m. And thanks for hitting the like button, which helps my channel to grow. Today, we'll be seeing instances that we heard on President Trump and his TV program Apprentice. You're fired. And we have this. In a recent interview with Catherine Heritage, President Trump's Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, Zelensky is a dictator. We have this from Facebook. No, this is from one of my Patriot subscribers. I bet when Kash Patel is in, one of his first arrests will be Podesta. Podesta was in the HRC group, and that concerned Pizzagate, something like that. And another Patriot subscriber said, I bet only about 35% of Americans know who he is. Well, he may become famous in the near future. From Facebook, we have this. President Trump, he will drill, baby, drill, and take down property taxes. RFK Jr. and his MEHA program. MEHA, Make America Healthy Again. We know we've been having poisons in our water and food and other areas. So yeah, make America healthy again. So RFK Jr., according to my Facebook friend, will launch an immediate investigation into the causes of autism. And we have this from the DOJ. President Trump's AG, Pam Bondi, will begin a RICO case against the collusion of medical boards, journals, and Big Pharma. So that's going on. And this information came from X at Patrick Kennedy 777. And I have this from another Facebook friend, Kash Patel. He's going to take many down and bring out information. Yeah, Epstein and Diddy. I understand Pam Bondi has the Epstein files sitting on her desk. And now we have this from The Hill. Judge to President Trump. So finally we're seeing some actions by prudent district court judges who go by law, says, yes, President Trump can move ahead with his massive federal employee layoffs and the buyouts. And we have this. A federal judge Friday, and this was a D.C. Federal District Judge Carl Nichols, said, yes, President Trump can move ahead to dissolve USAID. So that's going on. And the judge's order then frees President Trump to place all USAID employees on layoff status, except for the 611 USAID employees who were moved into the State Department under President Trump's Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. We have this from Hal Turner. President Trump fired the Joint Chief of Staff in the military. That was C.Q. Brown. He's replaced him with General Dan Kane. And I'll give you a little background on Dan Kane. He was a lieutenant general in the U.S. Air Force. From 2021 to 2024, he was associate director of the U.S. military intel. We see President Trump shoring up many positions dealing with intel. This should shut down those who are saying President Trump's not getting accurate intel. And he was General Dan Kane is a 1990 graduate of Virginia Military Institute, receiving a BA in economics. He then received a master's in air warfare from American Military Institute in 2005. So that's going on. And then yesterday, President Trump named him as the new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So that's going on. And now we have this from the Miami Herald. President Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, recommends to President Trump that the current FEMA be dissolved. Some of the questions are: a recent audit shows that FEMA has misspent billions of dollars in improper payments, and also there are many questions about billions spent during the C virus episode. And recently fired was FEMA Financial Officer Mary Comans, plus 3 others who facilitated questionable payouts of billions of dollars in the FEMA budget. So Kristi Noem advises President Trump to dissolve the current FEMA. And we have this from Stephen Gardner, that Z in Ukraine has blocked President Trump's media platform, Truth Social, saying that Truth Social puts out disinformation. This from the dictator Zelensky, who, according to the Constitution of Ukraine, is not the legal leader of Ukraine because his term expired last May. Also being mentioned, and this was coming out on Truth Social, about the American citizen Zelensky, whose death he facilitated. Gonzalo Lira was an independent American journalist in Ukraine, and Zelensky arrested him and allowed him to pass away without medical attention. He was in his 50s and had a heart condition. That came out on Truth Social. So Z is just blocking it in Ukraine. We have this from Alexander MERCOURIS. A couple of days ago, there was a meeting between President Trump's envoy to Ukraine, General Keith Kellogg, and Zelensky. And what happened after the meeting was there was no joint statement, no readout came out on the White House nor the State Department's websites. So now it's coming out. After the meeting, Zelensky called President Duda of Poland, and President Duda advised Zelensky he needs to maintain good relations with President Trump. Now it's coming out that it was Zelensky who initially brought up the minerals deal with the U.S. actually last summer. And now we have this new information. General Keith Kellogg to Zelensky in the meeting 2 days ago. President Trump wants that agreement for the U.S. to have 50% of the rare earth minerals, oil and gas, and so on in Ukraine, or next, and money and weapons have been slowed to Ukraine by President Trump. And now, what General Kellogg told Zelensky in the meeting 2 days ago, sign, or in a few days, Starlink is going to be out over Ukraine. That means that Ukraine will have no internet capability for both citizen and military use. And we have this from TFI Global, Romania. We know in that recent European meeting, I believe in Munich, President Trump's Vice President J.D. Vance spoke and talked about a lack of freedom of speech in Europe. And just today, France closed down 2 TV stations that were putting out conservative messages, not supporting Macron. So France just closed down 2 TV stations. We see another example of Europe censoring speech. And this had to do with a recent election in Romania where a conservative individual, Georgescu, was elected by the people legally under their election process, but the deep state-controlled Romanian government would not allow the election result and shut down elections. Now it's believed a second election will be held, and Georgescu continues popular with the people. So that's going on. So the U.S. and President Trump are making comments about Romania. You say you're a democracy, but you shut down elections. And oh, the U.S. in 2020 had a similar situation. Questions. We have this from Washington Post. Kash Patel was confirmed and sworn in yesterday. And immediately, he told 1,500 mid-level FBI agents they are being transferred from Washington, D.C. to field offices across the U.S. And they were going to cities that had been identified by President Trump's team as being high crime cities. So we have 1,000 going there and 500 going to an FBI satellite headquarters in Huntsville, Alabama. The goal of the FBI is to relocate 7,000 FBI agents out of Washington, D.C. to offices across the U.S. Now, this is coming out from Real Raw News that Kash Patel had arrested 78 mid-level FBI agents who were picked up by the military in a C-17 and taken to Gitmo. That happened overnight. And these 78 mid-level FBI agents belong to secret organizations such as the Thule Society, Skull and Bones, Golden Dawn, Freemasons. So that's going on. And they had been involved in persecuting President Trump after the 2020 election event. So they're in Gitmo. So they'll be allowed to have attorneys to represent them. We have this from Breitbart. So I believe our next major military engagement, which is why we need to bring our troops home from Europe, we need them in the U.S. to secure the U.S., Mexico, and the U.S.-Canadian border. And what do we see? Deep State President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, doing in Mexico. Well, she's changing the Mexican Constitution so Mexico can protect who? The cartels. Yeah. So we know that President Trump has set out, America's going to grow in territory. Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Central America, and the Panama Canal. So we see Mexico setting itself up for a potential dust-up with the greatest military in the history of the world, the U.S. military. So, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum wants to change the Mexican Constitution, Articles 40 and 19, that would block investigation by foreign law enforcement without the Mexican government's okay. And it's believed these moves are to shore up the government of Mexico's protection of the cartels. And she says, foreign law enforcement cannot come into Mexico by land, air, or sea. Yep. And if you do, we're going to put you in prison without bond. Okay, Claudia Sheinbaum. What is your future going to be? We wonder. AP brings this out. President Trump's Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, says that the U.S. has been guarding the borders of other foreign nations for too long. We need to bring the U.S. military home to defend our borders. So that's going on. I love you, and I'll see you soon.